And Instagram. Super excited to have you guys. Welcome to this very special 15-minute-ish LinkedIn Live from Human Power Solutions. I'm Sandra Coker, and the CEO of Human Power Solutions and author of the national bestseller People Profit and the host of the People Profit podcast. I am thrilled today to have Sarah Elizabeth Pare joining me live. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, how are you, Sandra? How have you been?
Good. So, you guys, Sarah's a strategist. She's a consultant and advisor. She's a former VP of Investor Relations and Chief of Staff at Canopy Growth. She has deep experience at Constellation Brands, guiding billion-dollar transformations in food and beverage, and also in cannabis. Now, she's a co-founder of Fosh.live, a real-time live event discovery platform. She brings the same grit that she brought to the boardroom to her own startup, all while being a proud mom and a singer-songwriter. So
Yeah.
all these cool things. So we're here today to tease her powerful episode that is airing on February 23rd, Leading from the Heart Through Chaos, Lessons from Billion-Dollar Transformations. So Sarah, hello, welcome today.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me back.
Yeah, sure. Just wanted to kind of tease the audience a little bit about what this episode is like. We have had such a great conversation. So I want you to just briefly just talk a little bit about your path from intern at Constellation Brands to leading strategy at Canopy Growth, right? So what's one early pivotal moment where you just realize that strategy without being genuine with people and getting them to buy in won't work?
Well, I think it all goes back to the entrepreneurial spirit that I have inhabited and the way that I really like to drive community building around me. So any situation that I come into, I am interested in the people that I'm working with, and I like to build strong relationships and deep relationships. I very much like to kind of create that group that is the group think. That's the power team, the A team that comes and tackles a problem. And I think the combination of my willingness to jump into new problems and also build a people-powered team around me is part of what led to so many opportunities that have come throughout my career being a good fit for me. So it all started with things happening in the business, whether it was an acquisition or a new need within investor relations or a new project or a new team that needed to be built. And over time, I developed a reputation of being someone who was, yeah, sure, I'll jump in. You something new, something that's never been done before. You need someone to get started on it and build a team around it. Yeah, that sounds great to me. And so it shouldn't be a terrible surprise that I'm landing in startup land now.
Yeah.
But again, hindsight's 2020. You don't really know these things until you look back over your career.
For sure. Yes. In the episode, you shared some red flag stories from those high pressured environments where leaders treat transformation like just pure numbers. What do you do to spot the human signals that are screaming, slow down, even when the financials are saying, let's go?
Yeah, usually if there's a sense of urgency, almost nothing is actually urgent. Almost nothing is actually legitimately, objectively urgent. We always have the power to slow down the conversation. And it's something I am a high energy individual, and I can jump on energy. I'm a good catalyst for whatever energy is in the room. So it's something I have to check within myself as well, is why am I pushing for this? Where is the sense of adrenaline coming from?
Right.
Because cooler heads typically prevail. So if you're getting that sense that, something is urgent, taking a step back and saying, wait, is it really? And can we pause? It's usually a good first step.
That's awesome. So when you think about, I'm thinking about the investment that Constellation's made in Canopy. There were some, there might have been some cultural differences. The growth was explosive, all those kind of challenges. Can you kind of talk a little bit about emotional intelligence and how respecting the people in the trenches, is really important to get them to become like those champions?
Yeah, we were wrangling quite a lot of objectives at the same time. And the appetite and the excitement about the potential of this industry was massive. And I still very much believe in the industry. I know we're at a moment right now where there's a lot of folks that, don't expect very much. And I I think the catalysts might take a lot more time than was originally expected. Obviously, already have taken a lot more time. I still believe that long term, we're going to look back and this is going to be a very, very different, very important industry within our consumer landscape. But when you simplify and you streamline what you're doing, it increases the likelihood that you'll be able to be successful. And we were very quickly getting into a spot where we had so much complexity, both in the structure of the organization, the structure of the teams, the number of objectives. And a lot of the work that we were doing was an attempt to simplify. And really, that requires getting to know each of those teams. It becomes a very difficult chore. If you have something where you're somewhat narrow focused and you can very much clarify what needs to be done, you can dig in deep with those people who are at all different levels of the problem and holding on to different components of the machine that's making the whole operation run. When you have multiple machines going at once already, it gets tricky. So you have to make sure that you have leaders at the top who are really well equipped to be able to do that and build teams with confidence behind them. That's really a big part of what I could see and what I'm trying to bring into the way that we approach building this from the ground up in a startup environment, making sure that we're very focused and deliberate, and we don't go too fast and we don't fail too quickly or get too complex, because the downside of that is you can really lose focus.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Also in this episode, you share about transparent communication that actually strengthens culture. Is there a practical step that our viewers can take to, communicate better with more radical candor? Like a little tip that you might be able to give without giving the store away?
I always come back to asking questions, honestly. And it's easy to walk into a meeting. And I think a lot of the advice we have been given relates to making sure you have your objective in mind.
Yeah.
But when you're in a meeting, and when you're in an engagement with someone else, if you want to get to that place of radical candor, if you want to get to that honesty, you need to be extremely curious about what is going on with that other person and willing to ask the questions and follow where their train of thought leads, so that you can listen for those connections to what's important to you, and you can listen for those opportunities to respond with your counterpoints in a way that's really organic and doesn't feel like a trap. Sometimes when we have something and we're coming into a situation where we think we need radical candor, and you've got, all the good idioms of like, standing up straight and you're doing your power and all of that, you can kind of lose sight of the fact that, like, human to human, like, we're just two humans over here. We're all trying to figure this stuff out. Everybody's doing the absolute best that they can. Some people are really depleted. Some people just don't have the resources they need. Some people are scared. So the more you can connect at that human to human level, the better chances you have of developing a relationship of strong trust and transparency.
So many good things for Monday. Last question I have for you today before I let you go. Yeah. So, going from these boardrooms to founding your company, Foch, what's the biggest leadership lesson you're carrying forward into your own company?
That is you always kill me with these like banger questions at the end. My goodness. There's so much that is different about the startup environment versus working within a complex Fortune 500. But thankfully for me, having worked at Constellation Brands, I cannot think of an environment that has a corporate environment that has better prepared me to be an entrepreneur than that company, because taking risks and betting on things and making bold decisions was supported, and making mistakes and having things not work out, it was okay. It was considered, well, you win some, you lose some. Like, some of these are going to work out great and some of these aren't. I think the biggest lesson for me at this stage, it's less about the environment. It's more about the stage where we are. So I worked in a corporate environment. It was often very, very rich about data, history, track records, synergies, modeling, all of the things with the numbers and the analysis, right?
Right.
When you are getting something off the ground, you don't have all of that back data. You don't have all of that history. And we're looking at large trends and we are extrapolating creatively how unrelated themes intersect within one opportunity that we believe is going out and live events and creating a platform that is to going out in the same way that Netflix was for staying in.
Yep.
So we're looking at big themes instead of data. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it requires a belief in that idea and a belief in the team instead of arguing your points. So there's a relief in that because you can get to the conversation, the meat of the conversation much more quickly,
right?
Where you're aligning on beliefs. But it's also a little scary because data helps us feel secure. You have all of your history and your sales data and your ACV, your pricing and your portfolio structure. Like, it makes you feel like the right answer is obvious. But, the truth is the right answer is never obvious. It's always a judgment call. And it always comes down to execution once the decision's made. So, you know what? Giddy up. Let's go. Either way.
Love it. Love it. Oh, Sarah, so excited. Thank you for these raw and inspiring teasers. Love it. Your stories from the $1 billion chaos show exactly why leading from the heart isn't soft. It's strategic and essential. Thank you. Thanks for coming on today. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And everyone, dive into the full episode of the People Profit Podcast, Leading from the Heart Through Chaos with Sarah Elizabeth Pare. Subscribe wherever you listen, like, share this live, as well as the podcast, Tag a Leader Navigating Change. Connect with Sarah on LinkedIn at linkedin.com, Sarah Elizabeth-Pare. Check out Fosh at fosh.live and reach out for some strategy consulting. Thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya. Bye.